He was just a village boy with one dream: to wear the Indian Army uniform. Years later, Arun Rathore became a soldier, found the love of his life, and became a father to a little girl named Aaradhya. But when his daughter was only 8 months old, Arun left home for a dangerous mission. He carried her photograph close to his heart and promised his wife, "I'll come home." But he never did. This is the story of a soldier, a family, and a sacrifice that would never be forgotten. In a small village lived a boy named Arun Rathore. His father was a farmer, and his mother raised him with love and discipline. From childhood, Arun admired soldiers. One day he told his father, "Papa, one day I want to wear that uniform." His father smiled. "Remember, son, a soldier's uniform carries the responsibility of an entire nation." Arun nodded. "I will remember." That promise became the beginning of his journey. Arun's dream only grew stronger. Before sunrise, he ran through the village roads. Rain or heat, he never stopped training. One day his mother asked, "Why do you work so hard?" Arun smiled. "Because one day, Amma, I want to be strong enough to protect others." His mother was proud, but deep inside, she feared the day her son would leave home.
At 21, Arun received the letter he had been waiting for. He had been selected for military training. He ran home shouting, "Papa!" His father read the letter and hugged him proudly. His mother cried tears of happiness. The next morning, Arun left for training. His mother said, "Come back safely." Arun smiled, "I will, Amma." Neither of them knew how difficult that promise would become. At 21, Arun finally began the journey he had dreamed about since childhood. He entered the army training camp, where every day tested his strength, discipline, and determination. Before sunrise, Arun ran with the other recruits, carrying heavy equipment on his back. He climbed obstacles, crawled through difficult terrain, and pushed his body beyond its limits. Some days, exhaustion made him want to stop. During one training exercise, Arun fell to his knees. For a moment, he struggled to get back up, but then he looked toward the finish line. He remembered his childhood dream. He remembered the promise he had made to his father. Arun slowly stood up and continued running. Every step was painful, but he refused to give up. He had taken his first major step toward becoming the soldier he had always dreamed of being. Arun was posted to a difficult border region. The nights were cold, the terrain was dangerous, and every day carried uncertainty. But Arun never complained. Whenever he could, he wrote to his mother, "Amma, don't worry about me. I'm doing what I always wanted to do. You taught me to be brave. Papa taught me responsibility. I carry both lessons with me." His mother kept every letter close to her heart. Years passed. At 27, Arun finally returned home on vacation. His mother hugged him tightly. His father smiled with pride. Then Arun met Meera. She was kind, simple, and understanding. Arun told her, "My life won't always be easy. I may have to leave without warning." Meera smiled. "If you can protect people you don't even know, I can stand beside you." For the first time, Arun felt he had found someone who understood his life. Arun and Meera were married. The whole village celebrated. For 2 beautiful months, Arun lived like an ordinary husband. But one night, Meera asked, "Are you ever afraid?" "Yes," Arun admitted. "Then why do you go?" He smiled. "Because fear doesn't mean I should stop doing my duty." Meera held his hand. "I'll wait for you." Arun looked at her. "I'll come back." It was a promise made with love and without knowing what the future held. Soon, Arun received orders to return to duty. The night before leaving, Meera packed his bag. Then she quietly asked, "When will you come back?" Arun smiled. "When I get leave." She tried to hide her tears. The next morning, Arun hugged his parents. Then he turned to Meera. "Come back soon," she whispered. "I will." He walked away. Meera watched him disappear down the road. That was the last goodbye they shared as husband and wife. Back at his unit, Arun became busy with duty. But whenever he had a few minutes, he called Meera. "Did you eat?" "Yes." "Did you?" "Yes." Their conversations were simple, but those few minutes meant everything. Sometimes he couldn't call for days. Meera never complained. She simply waited, because she knew her husband was serving the country.
Few months later, finally, Arun received leave. When he came,
When he came home, Meera gave him a small gift. Inside were tiny baby socks. Arun looked at her in disbelief. Meera, she smiled through her tears. We're going to have a baby. Arun hugged her. Later, his father smiled and said, You're going to be a father. Arun laughed. I don't know how to be one. His father replied, Just love your child. Arun looked toward the house. I already do. Arun had to return to duty. Before leaving, he placed his hand gently on Mira's stomach. Take care of both of you. Mira smiled. What if it's a girl? Arun laughed. Then she'll be my little princess. Mira asked, What will you tell her if she asks why you were always away? Arun paused. Tell her I was trying to keep her country safe. Mira's eyes filled with tears. I will. Months later, Arun received wonderful news. A baby girl had been born. A daughter? He asked excitedly. Yes, Mira said. Arun smiled. My princess? They named her Aaradhya. But Arun was still far away. Mira sent him her photograph. He stared at that tiny face for a long time. He couldn't hold his daughter yet, but from that moment, she became his greatest reason to come home. During a phone call, Mira placed the phone near the baby. Arun whispered, Hello, princess. The baby moved. Arun laughed. She knows my voice. Mira smiled. She hears you whenever we talk. Arun became quiet. I wish I could hold her. You will, Mira said. Arun looked at her photograph. So is her father. 8 months passed. Arun still hadn't spent enough time with Aaradhya, but he knew every little thing about her, her favorite toy, her smile, her sleepy little sounds. One evening, Mira told him, She is trying to walk. Arun laughed. Already? Yes. Tell her to wait for me. Mira smiled. She is waiting. Arun looked at her photograph. I'll come home soon. He didn't know. Those would become his final words to his family.
A few weeks later, Arun's unit received an urgent mission. Armed infiltrators had entered a dangerous area near the border. The soldiers prepared to leave immediately. Before stepping out, Arun looked at his phone. Aaradhya's smiling face was on the screen. My princess. He touched the photograph. Samir noticed. Thinking about your daughter? Arun smiled. Yes. When are you going home? Soon. Then he added, This time, I want to hold her for a long time. That night, the soldiers moved through the mountains. Cold wind, darkness, complete silence. Suddenly, a sound. Everyone stopped. Arun raised his hand. Silence. Then gunfire exploded through the mountains. The enemy had opened fire. The soldiers took their positions. Arun shouted, Stay together. The darkness had turned into a battlefield. During the battle, a soldier was injured. Another group was trapped. Arun saw them. Cover me. He moved forward through the gunfire. Move. I'll cover you. The soldiers began escaping. Then an explosion threw Arun to the ground. Samir rushed toward him. I'll take you with me. Arun grabbed his arm. No, but you're hurt. Arun looked at him. You have to save the others. Samir refused. I won't leave you. Arun gave him one final command. That's an order. Scene 18, his last battle. The others reached safety, but Arun remained behind. His strength was fading. His thoughts turned to home. His mother, his father, Meera, and little Aaradhya. He imagined holding her, watching her grow, hearing her call him Papa. A tear rolled down his cheek. I'm sorry, princess. He whispered. I promised I'd come home. Then he looked toward the battlefield and continued fighting. Seeing the battlefield finally became silent. Arun lay beneath the cold night sky. His memories returned. His father's words, his mother's voice, Meera's smile, and his little daughter. He knew he would never hold Aaradhya. He knew he would never return home. But he had kept another promise. His promise to his country. With his final breath, Arun whispered, Jai Hind, and closed his eyes. Days later, soldiers arrived at Arun's village. But Arun wasn't walking beside them. His body had returned, wrapped in the Indian tricolor. His mother stood frozen. His father stared silently at the flag. Meera held 8-month-old Aaradhya. The baby reached her tiny hand toward the coffin. Meera broke down. Look, Aaradhya, that's your father. The baby couldn't understand, but everyone else did. Arun had finally come home, just not the way he had promised. Aaradhya was only 8 months old. She would never remember her father's voice, never remember his arms, never remember his smile. But Meera promised to tell her everything. Your father loved you before he even saw you. He carried your photograph with him. He wanted to watch your first steps. He wanted to hold you. And he gave his life protecting the country you would grow up in. Aaradhya had lost her father, but she would never lose his love, father. She read his letters. She studied his photographs. She listened to the soldiers who had served beside him. One day, she stood before his memorial. She placed flowers there. Then she saluted. I couldn't remember you, Papa. She paused. But I will make sure nobody forgets you. She looked at his name. Her father's story would never disappear, because his daughter had made a promise. A soldier knows the cost of his duty. He knows that one day, the call may come when he has to choose between his own life and the lives of millions he has sworn to protect. Still, he stands at the border, not because he doesn't fear death, but because his love for his country is greater than his fear. Behind every uniform is a human being, a son, a husband, a father, a brother. And behind every soldier who doesn't return, there is a family that waits forever. Remember the soldier died. Remember the family died. Remember the sacrifice. Jai Hind.